Looking for the recipe of a perfect chocolate cake? Well, you are at the right place. Today, let us see how to make the most decadent and the moistest chocolate truffle cake you've ever had. Let's get started. Come, let us bake, decorate, cook, eat, and enjoy. Hello foodies and welcome back to Culinary Table. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss yummy-licious updates like this. First, let's start our recipe by chopping up 100 grams of dark chocolate compound. If you don't have compound chocolate, you can also use normal dark chocolate or milk chocolate according to your preference. But do not use white chocolate because it'll change the color of the cake entirely and we won't get this nice chocolatey flavor also. So here I've transferred my chopped 100 grams of dark chocolate to a bowl, and this bowl goes over a vessel with hot boiling water. So this is the double boiling method. If you want, you can also microwave your chocolate to melt it. So along with this chocolate, I'm adding 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil and mixing it thoroughly well until it melts completely. So now my melted chocolate is ready. So we are going to add in 2 eggs. But before adding in your eggs, make sure your chocolate is nice and tempered, which means it must have come to the room temperature. That's called tempering the chocolate. So now we add in our 2 eggs and mix it really well until everything is well combined. Once you mix your eggs in, you will find that your melted chocolate has become all custardy and thick and jelly-like, which is the consistency we are looking for here. So now once the consistency is achieved, add in 1 cup of milk along with 1 teaspoon of vinegar, which when kept aside will form our instant buttermilk. So keeping this aside, we sieve together 1 cup of flour, a pinch of salt and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder along with half teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Sift everything together and remove all the lumps. So as you guys can see, now our dry ingredients is ready. So we give it a quick mix to mix everything together, and now we mix all our dry ingredients into the wet mixture little by little so that we make sure that we mix everything properly in. If you don't mix your dry ingredients properly, your cake is gonna sink in between. So today I forgot to add my sugar, so I'm adding 1 cup of sugar at the end. And now to balance my consistency, I'm adding 2 tablespoons of milk. So once adding my milk, I'm gonna mix everything together till I reach a silky and glossy mixture like this. This is the consistency your cake batter should be looking like now. So I'm gonna transfer my cake batter to a 6-inch greased cake tin which is lined with parchment paper and bake it according to the instructions on the screen. So for our frosting, we need around 250 grams of dark chocolate again. So here I'm using my Mordace compound chocolate, and if you guys are curious to know what brands I use for my baking, I'll leave a link down for the video called My Baking Supplies, in which I shared all my ingredients and their brands. So now we melt the 250 grams of dark chocolate, and once melted, make sure it's like lump free because we don't want our frosting to be grainy. And once it is like super smooth, add in 1 cup of fresh cream or 1 cup of whipping cream or 1 cup of heavy cream. Anything will do it. Here I'm using 1 cup of whipping cream, and you will notice the moment the whipping cream touches the chocolate is gonna harden. So because it is like really very cold, I just took it out from the freezer. So I'm gonna melt this again over the double boiler, and as you guys can see, now I'm left with this thick and luscious melted chocolate ganache. So I'll let it sit in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. So now as you guys can see, our cake is perfectly baked. That's because our knife has come out super clean. So now if you touch your cake your cake should be bouncing back like this, which means your cake is cooked well. This is actually called the bounce back test to check if your cakes are cooked. So here I'm loosening the cake's edges using a knife and cooling it on top of a wire rack. So once cooled, I'm just gonna transfer it to a plate and remove the parchment paper from the sides and the bottom. Now my frosting is like super chill. It has been in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. Now I'm gonna give it a quick whip, and you guys can see the consistency here. It's not like stiff peaks, but it's not like very smooth peaks also. It's like a medium rare peak, something like that. It's still in ribbon consistency. So this is how we want our ganache to be, because when we refrigerate it again, it's gonna turn super thick. So this is the right consistency. Now our frosting is ready, and here I've cut my cake into 2 layers so I can put a generous amount of frosting in between. And now I start to layer my cake by using offset spatula, and here, as I told you guys, I'm putting a generous amount of frosting, because if you don't put generous amount, you're not doing justice to this cake. And here I've decorated my cake again, so this time I'm going for a very rustic barky look, and I've placed my cake on top of a cake board, and I always decorate my cake using a turntable. And if you guys are looking for the perfect purchase, I'll leave a link down below in the description box for all these. And here I'm using chocolate chips of both colors to decorate my cake, and you guys can also use chocolates or gems or whatever it is, sprinkles, icing sugar, cocoa powder, anything. And at last, you might want to chill your cake, or you might gobble it up just like that. It tastes super good and super delicious, soft, decadent, moist, and whatever. See that gooey center in between. But if you don't want your center to be too gooey or your frosting to be so like very soft, you might want to chill your cakes for about an hour before you eat them. They're gonna turn up super thick and delicious again. They're gonna become more chocolatey over the time. I don't know why, but that happens all the time. So if you guys are loving this video, please don't forget to like, share, and of course subscribe to Culinary Table.